friends. Today I want to share with you a book that I just finished reading. It is by Kristen Welch, Raising World Changers in a Changing World. This is one of the first books that I have really started from the beginning and read all the way to the end in a really long time. But it took me a long time as well to get it read. I believe I started reading this book back in the fall of 2018, and now it's the beginning of spring 2019, so that kind of gives you the time span that it took me to read it, mainly because I don't read it consistently. Fits small tidbits of time into my schedule, whether it's a little before bed or first thing in the morning or sitting in the carpool line, not really a line anymore, my daughter's too old for that, but sitting waiting for school to get out. Or like if I'm running errands with my husband and he runs in somewhere and I sit in the car, I just fit little times in like that to read. So for me, amongst everything else that goes on in my regular day-to-day life, that's the reason it takes me a while to read, and I'm not a very fast reader. Okay, so I wanted to share with you about how I found this book and also what led me to want to read it. A couple years ago, I started serving on book launch teams. If you're not familiar with the book launch team, it is where authors form a team of people that they know that has been following them throughout their process of writing their book, or newcomers that are interested in reading their book, and they form a team anywhere from 100 less or 100 plus, depending on how many followers or how many people they have willing to commit their time and helping getting the word out about their book. Long story short, years ago, my first book launch team that I ever served on was for author Jeff Goins, and it was his Real Artist Don't Starve book. From there on, I grew this passion for book launches. It was a time that I was able to share some of my gifts, my skills, and my passion for others succeeding in what God has put on their heart to be able to share with the world in a matter of influencing others. So I grew this passion of helping authors get their message out into the world. I cannot remember if I hit record. I better go see. Lucky for you, I did. From that moment of serving on that first book launch, I began getting my hand in serving on other book launches, and then it grew into a love of being book launch manager myself. And I have been a book manager for several different authors. One of the ones that I was on a year ago was a devotion book for moms. During that time, also, this book was coming out. I did not serve on this book launch team, nor was I the book launch manager, but I heard about it through other author friends. I believe I may have even seen an ad or someone sharing about it or something. I remember seeing it. My passion has always been about world change, so that kind of caught my eye. To me, I would think, because it's saying raising world changers in a changing world, raising world changers. Well, here's the thing. I already have one daughter who I've raised. I mean, she's 23 years old. Not that we ever stop being parents, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, like, she's not like in kindergarten or elementary or high school. I do have one high schooler left, but my point is, whenever I saw this, I kind of thought, oh, that's going to be a book for moms who have younger children. I decided to go ahead and purchase the book anyway. You know, typically when you're on a book launch team, you are supplied with the book, either a physical copy or a digital copy. So this was kind of a treat for myself, for me to purchase a book, you know, outside of a book launch team and on my own. So I got this, I ordered it, and it sat dormant for a little bit in my stack of books that I wanted to read. And I keep a stack of books mainly because whenever I start getting that itch and that drive to want to read, I want to have something on hand that's going to be meaningful to my heart and that I know that the Lord is going to speak to me through. And that's where I get to with this. I'm not going to really go in and like, I'm not reviewing this book. I am going to share with you the things that the Lord spoke over my life as I was reading. And I have to say that that is one of the biggest things that I love about reading books. It can be Christian books, it can be fiction books, nonfiction. It doesn't even have to be a Christian book. But whenever I spend that time and I'm reading, and really and truly, it's almost like my quiet time, you know, just stilling myself. It's no one but me and him and the author. So it's almost like me and the author are, you know, communicating, and then in the midst of that, the Lord is communicating with me. And so I'm going to start from the very beginning, from where I wrote things down, because that's one of my favorite things to do, is write in the margins of books. Let me get started. And of course, I love underlining as well. So I'm just going to, like, every time I see where I have written something, It could be something as little as that, or something that's even longer, like wrapping around the edge. But I just want to read that and let you hear what the Lord was speaking over me during that time. It may not make any sense to you, but I think that it'll just kind of be neat to share the different things that were ministered over me as I was reading. It may not even have anything to do with the book. These words were going in, and it was just Him speaking to me and trickling out other things. So if sometimes it doesn't make sense to you, or you're wondering what this book is about, or you want the juice on it, I would suggest going to Amazon and looking the book up and reading some of the reviews there, because this is not really going to be a review video. This is a video about me sharing what the Lord spoke over my heart during the time of the reading of this book. So the first one, and I noted this on page 13, I said, when we take what's deep in our hearts and give it to the world, we are shining our voice of influence. If you know me well enough and you've been watching my channel long enough, you realize that that is something that is very near and dear to my heart. It's the word shine. I want not only for myself, but for you and for the people around us to shine in the image of Christ. I truly believe that our voice of influence is a moment that could be healing to others, or a moment in time that is just the right next thing someone on their journey needs to hear. It was almost like the UPS truck just passed by. It was almost like He was just strengthening what message I'm already trying to convey here on my channel and growing my ministry. Okay, so I go several pages and I'm still steadily underlining and circling things. Wow, he didn't speak to me for a little while, did he? Okay, over to page 35. Maybe that non-speaking time was just quiet time. And we have great anxiety of our children's future. We must rest in trust. We must rest in trust. And when I say these things, and when I know that He's speaking these things over my life and over my soul in order to be able to share with you and share to the next person and the next person, I know He's really speaking to me as well, regardless the age that my children are. I'm going to read it again. When we have great anxiety of our children's future, we must rest in trust. Put hashtag no matter their age. At the bottom of 37, often we think of giving. By the way, this is the first time that I've gone back and read over these, so I kind of may be just as surprised about them as you are. Okay, often we think of giving others something physically. We must remember giving of our gifts, such as encouragement, is giving too. And that was a really great reminder for myself, because encouragement is a huge gift that I do have that to share with others. And sometimes I have a hard time stopping and realizing that encouragement does matter. Okay, and getting on to the bottom of page 38 and 39, that's one of the ones that I kind of wrote a lot. I wrote, I want to be the bridge. I want to be the bridge to what you are being called to: ministry, songwriting, blog writing, videography, teaching, being a stay-home mom, battling cancer, paying the bills. You've got this. No matter what side of the bridge you are on, cross. Be free, smile. One step at a time. Put one foot in front of the other. Do what you know is the right thing. And I mean, I'm writing upside down now. You are wonderful. You are loved. You matter. You were made to shine. Don't you just love? I love how he was like really ministering over my soul and like speaking to me about my channel and my ministry and my voice of influence for you and for others who hear. That's kind of special. Another one short line I wrote, I will continue to use my knowledge. I will continue to use my knowledge. One thing I do to keep my thoughts flowing, my soul juice, is by reading. See, that's what I told you, like whenever I'm reading, that's whenever he speaks the most to me, and I try to note it by reading. Okay, read nonfiction. This helps me with the words to be sharing with the world, shine my light. Okay. Like I said, this is my first time reading back over these. You're hearing it firsthand, just like I am going back. And so sometimes I may be writing it, so fast, and the older I get, the worse my handwriting gets. I'm just being honest with you. Okay, so I'm gonna read it again. One thing I do to keep my thoughts flowing, my soul juice, is by reading. Read nonfiction. This helps me with the words to be sharing with the world, shining my light. Ooh, this is gonna be a long one. Apparently I always started writing at the bottom and wrote around and then circled around upside down. It must be
the thing to do here.
We must not look to those who have so much to find ourselves, or we will be lost more than when we started looking. Let me warn you about some people's social media. They very well may be running a business, creating a brand for their name, narrowing down their niche customer. I tell you this for if you're someone not doing this. It's okay you're not, but don't be tripped up by it thinking you are not worthy, you are not good enough. You know, you can't compare your life to those that are building a business. In other words, I'm meaning like you got to be careful of like who you're seeing on social media and their presence of what they're doing, because some people are building a business, they're building a brand, and if we're not doing those kinds of things, we could get tripped up on thinking that our life is like we are not worthy. Therefore, you can end up depressed, miserable, discontent. I want to motivate you. I want to be that friend that shares their life, but then tells you, get yourself up and get your act together. You matter. Your voice matters. You are made to shine. Lead and encourage. When I tell you there was a disconnect between player and coach, it affected everyday life, mental well-being, etc. I don't know, I don't even know how that came about. It just might have been something that I was thinking about that day, and through this reading, it transpired into that. Maybe those words are meant for you to understand and to connect with where you are on your path. On page 65, you could walk away with everything right now because of Jesus, because of your love for Jesus. Oh boy, this is going to be another long one. Alrighty then, I started in a different location this time. Okay, this is going to be a long one. Okay, are you satisfied? Our culture tells us to fill our lives with material things and physical things, as well as physical activities. There's a balance. We have to seek to find for our personal selves. I can't find it for you. You can't find mine. But we can encourage and make each other aware. The amount of things we have in our life may be over the brim. This is starting a new one. I'm actually on all of this writing that I did is actually going to be 3 segments. Like that's what I just read you right there. And then it's going to start and go down. And then actually I've got a little bit right there. So it's 3 parts. On occasions, I like to read actual paperback books. You know, physical books, each hard copies versus listening to audio books, podcast, or watching video content. Okay, this is where I think this is still part of that. And I think what it was is he was like speaking truth and light over me about physical copies of books and audible messages. So let's keep reading and see what else he has for us. Podcast or watching video content. I've served on many book launch teams. I shared that with you all ago. And managed them as well. People ask for the physical copy over the digital version. I believe me enjoying this has mainly to do with its time to silence my mind, silence all other voices around me. The only voice I hear is mine reading the context. This is soothing to me. It's quiet time, yet enriching your knowledge and flexibility of your word. Let's see, the wisdom. I'm not sure what that says, okay? Basically, it's quiet time, yet enriching knowledge and flexibility of your mind to wisdom, to, like suck in the wisdom. Okay, so the third little segment. I'm going to share this case scenario, providing the logistics. The answer are hard copies of books here to stay. See, that's what one of the biggest things is whenever he's speaking things over my life, he's also given me ideas to talk about and share with you and to create standalone videos of their own. And so I remember now in this moment, he was really speaking over me to share my insight about whether I think hard copy books will be here for a lot longer than people think that they are. Some people think hard copy books are vanishing, and I kind of beg to say that I don't believe that they are. So the answer is yes, meaning yes, they're here to stay. Are hard copies of books here to stay? The answer is yes. That was my insight on that, in which I really do want to do like a video of its own one day to give a little more in depth of that. Not only that reading a physical copy, well, you may get the answer right here, okay. Not only that reading a physical copy while still allows my thoughts to roam freely as my soul is fueled. In return, I'm able to jot messages in the margins of the book, such as this one. no other time am I able to trigger the freedom of message delivery. So for me, personal physical copies of books are important to me. So I say yes. Second, book launch teams. For that reason, I'd say yes. Again, as a physical book are here to stay. And that was kind of shorthand for, it's still not my full in depth of what I think about and what I know about the differences between being on a book launch team and then providing hard copy and digital copy. I have some thoughts and theories about that. What's your goal in 10 years? When you reach your dream goal, it's okay to sit, enjoy for a short period of time. Then use the responses to others' content as topics of motivation, encouragement. And this is maybe starting a new section. There's something special about an encourager. 1, not everyone is an encourager. 2, males and females can be an encourager. 3, some days you don't realize how much your encouragement stands out. 4, your mind can trick you into thinking everyone is an encourager, and that's just not true. Not everyone has that gift of encouragement. And I think if you're one of those that doesn't have the gift of being an encourager, I think you probably know that. That's not a bad thing. If you don't know what your gift is, I encourage you to start praying to the Lord to show you ways for you to understand what your gift is, as well as, continue reading in His Word, find you some books to study up on gifting and so forth. I mean, everything I've ever come across in my life and so forth, it's not that I just woke up one day and know it. Like if I start having thoughts about something and I want to get to the bottom of something, and I'm not just getting that clear message from God on my own, I always seek out to further study up on things so I can get those clear messages from Him as to what I'm on the hunt for. Okay, a while ago I was reading what your goal is in 10 years, and I stopped reading here and went up here, and it was actually all the way across the bottom. So I'm gonna read it again. When you reach your dreaming goal, it's okay. You must reevaluate. Set another set of goals. Why? To sit, enjoy for a short period of time. Then goals are not bad. It's setting yourself up to live. Goals are not bad. It's setting yourself up to live. And just keep in mind too, some of these things I have written down throughout this book, they could be something to do with what's in this book, or it could have been just something I was dealing with in my life at the time I was reading this. Let you know that not everything I write in here just has to do with this book per se. Your best life of making a difference in the world. We are not called to just sit around doing nothing. Each goal we set is the potential to change your life and the lives around you. When you keep moving forward, we are learning new things. Our mind, body, and soul are being exercised and renewed. These are the moments we shine. So to really get the depth of that is saying that we should always set goals for ourselves, because as we're doing that, our minds and our bodies and our souls are being exercised through that time that we are learning and that we are reaching and we are discovering that goal. Our minds and bodies and souls are being exercised and are being renewed through the process. Through that process, these are the moments that we shine. So I hear so often that people don't ever set goals, or they set them and don't follow through with them. They don't believe in goals. And I'm not saying whether you should or you shouldn't read through them. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't believe in them. I'm just strictly encouraging you that it's good for us to have something to work on. And over time, whether you're sitting there thinking, well, actually, there's no way I could do that. I don't know how. Well, no one knows how to begin with. They start, they learn, they exercise, and they are renewing as they move forward and they're reaching that goal. There's you set the goal and you're exercising and you're renewing your mind and body, and then you ultimately reach that destination. If you're wanting to learn how to songwrite, you're not going to go, okay, set this goal, I want to be a songwriter, and next week you're going to be a songwriter. No, you've got to research, you've got to learn, read up on, study. It could be 10 years from now. But if you don't start now, regardless of what that thing is that that the Lord has put on your heart, if you don't start now, in 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, you will have never reached that goal. And I feel like you would be disappointed. Whereas whenever your goal is to be met, through that process, I really think that our souls are strengthened, encouraged, and once we reach that final destination of meeting that goal, it is such victorious to know that we really have put in our time and our talents and our God-given knowledge and wisdom to portray out into the world to create World change. Now you know why this book grabbed me. Okay, on page 83, I wrote, you do not have to write a book, give a speech on a big platform to make a difference. Using your spiritual gifts in your everyday life, list out places you go daily, weekly, monthly. Then think about those people at those places you pass. What can you do to make their day bright? I wish I knew what that said. What can you do to make their day bright? Be the light. There's still a word in there that I don't know. Well, I can't read it, okay? Page 98. What value you are sharing may be the very piece of value the next person needs in order to change the lives they come in contact with. Write out your idea, speak your idea aloud, even if no one is listening. Although our days may be hard, underpaid, timing, you're making His glory known. I read to hear from God. Let me see it. Right up here. This is another one that's going to be a little longer. Let me find where it starts right quick. Starting at the bottom and circling my way around. Okay, my mission is to love those no matter where they are in life, if they are a believer or not, if they are a new believer or a seasoned one. My mission is to encourage them. Their voice of influence matters. So often people think they are not valuable enough. That's not true. I want to love the local as in on our streets we drive on every single day. I'm not talking about the heart of the city. I'm not afraid of the city. I just know there are people we rub shoulders with every single day, make eye contact with. Where do you claim your mission field? Don't be confused about others' story. That was pretty deep. Try these 3 things in your next downtime. Read a book, walk 5 laps in the driveway, stretch with a bungee cord. Are you willing to take all that comes with where you see someone, like their home, car, animal, etc.? Do you take what is offered to you? I think we're getting close to being done. Okay, page 150. Everyone says this. How many times do you have to say something in order for it to stick? And on this one, on 163 down the bottom, I just strictly wrote, give it all. Give it all. We are called to abandon ourselves. We're not called to cater to ourselves. We're called to abandon, like give our life up and follow Him. When we model too much to our children, they're watching. So like, we got to be careful what we show these kids. How dry are you? Ways God fills you up. I think it's important sometimes to ask ourselves these things. We're getting closer. Yep, I think this is the last chapter. I went to visit and have lunch with my mother one day. We met at a restaurant and she got held up in traffic, so she called to let me know that she was going to be behind. I said, that's fine. I've got a book in my purse and I'll just go ahead and get inside and get us a table because around lunchtime it usually fills up. We like to go a little bit before the lunch rush hour and get a seat. And so I said, don't rush. I'll be inside reading. So I got some reading time in. One way my video ideas come to me while reading books. It's more than video ideas. It's conversations between God and I about the message He wants me to share with the world. This is going to sound a little risky, but this is the title to a video that I know I want to do. And first of all, I'm going to read it and then I'm going to have a quick response for you. Okay, but the title that I have this video idea for is, My Parents Don't Know I'm Pregnant. Now what? I was pregnant at a young age. I'm not pregnant right now. Don't have any plans to, and don't even know that that's even possible for me to be. But I was pregnant at a young age, and so I just have a special place in my heart for those who get pregnant at a young age, whether it's in their teens or while they're in college or what have you. I just know a lot of times while my daughter was away at college, she would, tell me like, well, this person's pregnant and they're not telling their parents, they're scared to death, blah, blah. And so like I have this special message that I want to share, and so that's kind of the title that would go along with it. My parents don't know I'm pregnant. Now what? Oh, that will be a good one. I often think people need... Okay. I feel so bad that I'm having a hard time reading this stuff, y'all. Okay. I often think people's needs go unmet because people don't know how to help or think their help doesn't matter. Okay, you guys, that's pretty much it. That's all I wrote. And I will say that last thing that I wrote, that's something that's very, very strong on my heart. That I often think people's needs go unmet because people don't know how to help or think that their help doesn't matter. and I'm here to tell you it does, but that could be like a video in itself. So I just want to reiterate that I do recommend this book, but this was not a book review, and anything that I wrote in a margin per se really and truly was mine. There may have been a time or two that was really close into what the author was talking about, one time specifically that I can remember. But yeah, this was just time for me to sit and quieten my soul and the voices around me and spend time hearing what he has to speak over to my life and encourage me so I can better serve you, so therefore you can serve those around you. So I really and truly hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that if you're looking for a new read that you would willingly give this book a shot to read, because I think you would enjoy it. It was a great time and a great eye-opener for me to just hear this author's heart and how she has raised her family, how they choose as a family to see things and serve others in a changing world. This author also she is the creator of the popular parenting blog, We Are That Family. So if you are familiar with that, and she has a column in the Parent Life magazine and is a frequent radio guest and speaker. And she is the founder of Mercy House Global and lives with her family in Texas. Kristen Welch. All right, you guys have an amazing day, and remember to get out there and shine in the image of Christ, and that your voice of influence matters. I love each of you, and I will see you back next time. Have a good day.